staying with us. Now, there is a political pushback with international implications coming from Abuja. Nigeria Senate is taking on Washington, calling out what it says are false claims of, quote, a Christian genocide. Lawmakers are saying the violence they're tearing through part of the country is not a religious war, but a broader security crisis driven by terrorism, poverty, and crime. The Senate now plans to send a delegation to the United States Congress to tell Nigeria's side of the story head on. But can this diplomatic counteroffensive change the global narrative, or is the damage already done? The Senate president have to react into Lawmaker speaking from the floor. Let me allow you to hear just a few seconds of what the plan of the National Assembly is on that matter.
Is also capable of affecting the dignity of Nigerians wherever they go to. Therefore, we must have a strategy to approach this issue. And so, leader of the Senate, my personal opinion is that this has been brought to the fore of the Senate, and then we must have exhaustive deliberations in closed session on this. And then we must also come up with a strategy to correct the misinterpretation, the misinformation, and at the same time educate the international community.
One of those who spoke eloquently on the floor today about this matter and are concerned also about the issue of security is Borno State federal lawmaker representing them in the Senate, Senator Ali Ndume, who is live for us here in our studio. Senator, thank you so much indeed for joining us tonight.
Thank you. It has been a while.
Yeah, let me get a quick comment from you on Professor Amupiton's appointment as INEC, nomination rather, as INEC chairman. Soon it will get to your front for screening.
Yeah, as the professor who you from INEC, Mustafa, yes, you spoke with just now, I don't know much about him, and I know that you'll ask me. So on my way coming, I asked some of my friends to tell me a little bit about it. But in summary, his colleague, I won't mention his name, who was with him in University of Jos, who has been with him for a very long time, I must say, made a very commendable, he said good things about him, and that he's quite a gentleman. He is from Kogi State, but he is also from Plateau, because he schooled in there.
All his degrees.
And now he's the vice chairman at
he's a vice chancellor in Jabo. He was a
vice chancellor in charge of admin.
Yeah, in Jos. Yeah,
in Jos now. So normally, when you have people like that from the academic background, and then taking the advice of what Professor Mustafa said, I think he should be able to do. And as for the Senate, normally, we are to do confirmation. So I'm sure before the president nominated him, he must have done some background check on it.
Do you think Nigerians trust what you do as a screening these days? Because he's a minister that has been accused.
Now, you have just asked me a question. Let's stop there and don't go anywhere again.
I'm giving you a background to this question.
Which I'm asking you. No, you don't need, you just say I should make comment. What brought me here is to talk about the misconception about the Nigerian situation.
But if you did a bad job in the Senate, you and your colleagues, the Minister of Science,
look,
now that have been accused,
we can't do a bad job.
It's a bad job because now the man is being alleged to have perjured himself, alleged to have forged his document, and it went through screening. Mr. Inaji, the Minister of Science and Technology and Innovation, he's resigned his appointment.
Look, don't go there. I don't want to talk about that, as I told you. This matter of forgery in Nigeria is a big problem, not only restricted to the political class, but even you now, I don't know your certificates if you are to school.
I have classmates. I have different
everybody, all of these people have classmates. All these people, Naji, you say Naji has classmates.
But the question is that I've never come before the Senate.
Let's go and talk about what is more important.
Why are you dodging away from the fact that
I'm not
if there was a shoddy job that was done by the Senate, in screening such a person who said he said to have had.
We are not screening. Get it clear.
When the minister appears
and confirmation are two different things.
So when minister comes, a minister comes before the Senate.
We confirm.
And so if you see that the degree or the certificate is...
How can we see...
Do you do your background checks on basic things?
Wait now. Before the president sends a candidate to the Senate, there are a lot of processes, including screening him on not only on certificates, but doing a background check by the SSS. The SSS have to clear him.
So it's not your fault.
Wait now. Wait. Last time the SSS brought something against somebody, and we dropped the person. So it's not, don't say we are not doing our job. After all, we are just to screen. No, not screening even. We are not even to do the screening. We are to do confirmation. You know what confirmation? Go and check. That's your problem.
Let me take you to why I invited you tonight.
Yeah.
You and your colleagues have decided that you are going to go to the United States and confront them. What will you be telling the lawmakers in the U.S.?
That what Ted Cruz and co said is not true. It's not true to say that Christians are being persecuted in Nigeria. It's not true. You know that it's not true. And thank God, you know, this thing came up from Ted Cruz, and it has been lingering around, dates back to 2020. And even it's, if in fact, Donald Trump in his first, designated us as CPC, they call it CPC. That is country of particular concern, where a group of religion, believers of any type are being persecuted. That is the act, So that means sanctions would be applied. We had a feel of it when Nigeria wanted to buy the Tucanos. The Leahy, that time there was a Leahy law. So now a retired senator stopped us from there. It took the late president a lot of lobbying and some of our people to convince them that the terrorists have no religion concern about it. They just go about killing, and they needed the Tucanos. Fortunately, during the tenure of Joe Biden, that we were removed from the CPC list. What Ted and co are now trying to do, because of the recent incidences in the country, and unfortunately again, when a particular reverend from Benue, went before the Congress, it started in the U.S. Congress before Ted Cruz case. Ted Cruz is coming up with a bill to design Nigeria specifically as CPC and also to impose certain sanctions. And this has far-reaching effect on not only Muslims, so to say, but Nigerians. Because that means, as we are fighting this war, majority, almost all the things that we use the Nigerian security, the Nigerian army and security agencies use come from overseas. We don't even manufacture a bullet in Nigeria. So you see, when you have sanctions against a country like that, when now even with those equipment, we're still battling with the issue of insecurity in the country, and it seems to be even spreading all over. So if you have that jack on this thing of clock of not having supply of what the armed forces need, I don't know. I don't want to imagine.
So it has a heavy implication. Not only our reputation, but our diplomatic relations.
But now, if you go to I don't know whether you are a citizen or not, but if you come into America and they see Sheun, they will start running a check, keep you, instead of you to spend like 15 minutes at the airport, it may take you a day, or it may not. You may not even be able to go in, because if they designate you as somebody of a particular concern or politically exposed, then you're there. Now, and they are calling even sanctions on the government, people in government, and particularly politicians, even businessmen of Nigeria. It will even affect our social,
So the plan of the Senate, as being raised, is that you and some of your colleagues will go to the U.S. Congress with the hope of maybe meeting a Ted Cruz himself and sit down and address the issue with the United States Congress. That's the plan, isn't it?
Yeah, it's part of the plan. But as I said, we have it's on Tuesday that definite position will be taken on the prayers of my motion. They read the motion, and all of the senators, majority of the senators, I can say all the senators, are in support of this motion.
You raised the motion today. What exactly was the prayer in your motion?
That's what I want to read it out for you here. The prayers are basically four. I think there are four prayers. First is to urge the federal government through Ministry of Foreign Affairs and security agencies and other relevant security agencies to enhance transparent and data-driven public communication, providing verified casualty figures and context to counter the misinformation. That's, you understand what I'm saying? Okay, then that's the second one, is to call on religious leaders, civil society organizations, and the Nigerian media as well as foreign media to communicate responsibly, avoiding language that could inflame sectarian divisions and fostering dialogue. Then the third prayer is to mandate the Committee on Foreign Affairs, National Security and Intelligence and Information, and National Orientation to collaborate with the executive in developing a coordinated national communication strategy to present accurate figures. If we had this kind of data, and it's in the internet and everywhere, Ted Cruz can easily be referred to all this. You see, what is happening in America on the average, and I'm glad you have been to America yourself. You know they are thinking. Somebody in, what is this place, Guzape? Somebody in Guzape, throughout his life, may never be to go to Gwagwalada.
Yeah.
So all he does is in Guzape because he has the grocery store, he has everything there. So his thinking is narrowed down. And they don't have open channels of communication, so to say, or media. Because if you want to hear anything reliably or near reliable, is you have to subscribe to CNN, you have to subscribe. Here we can juggle all those media, but in Nigeria, in America, it's not like that.
You have a very strong population of Christians in the Muslim-dominated Borno state, your senatorial district. And part of what, for example, Senator Ted Cruz is blaming Nigeria for is saying there is a mass murder of Christians. And so there are those who will look at places like Benue and Taraba, in Kwara South now, and those who are largely affected by some of these insurgency or this insecurity situation are in the Christian-dominated population. Do you think that global outlook of the situation is what has caused these reports? Because if you go to Benue, which is largely Christian-dominated, Plateau Christian-dominated, and you find out of 240-something people killed in one day, you find 235 that are Christians.
Yes.
So someone can summarize and say, there is an attempt to wipe out Christians.
I think that is the, I can say, naive thinking or the perspective that they're looking at. I give you an example. Borno State. It even started there. And it did not start because of religion. The Boko Haram started. When they say Boko Haram, it means Western education is forbidden, whether you are Muslim or you are Christian. You understand? And they go after you. As it is now, I'm speaking to you where I'm from Borno State. The casualties, 80% or more of the people that were affected by Boko Haram are Muslims from Kanuri in that area. Even now, 80% of the areas that have been displaced are the Kanuri areas. I represent Borno South. The Christian-dominated local governments, or so to say, where we have Christians, are about 3 or 4 local governments. You understand? As I'm speaking to you now, so Southern Borno is one of the senatorial district that is least affected by the insurgents. If you go to all the local government in Northern Borno, except these local government capitals, all of the local governments there are displaced. They are in their local government headquarters. Except recently, where the governor, Baba Gana is deliberately and personally, taking interest in resettling some of these people. Even with that, the highest, my local government benefited highest in the resettlement because when he started the resettlement, 12 communities were resettled in my local government. As it is now, up to now, even in his local government, Mafa, I think there are only 2 or 3 villages that he has resettled. So about how many, getting to 20 local governments that are affected in Northern Borno where they are displaced are Muslim dominated. When Boko Haram was at its peak in 2014 or so, there were 120,000 people, Muslims, that were displaced in the far Cameroon. It was recently when the governor again makes deliberate effort to resettle them, to bring them back, in conjunction with this Ministry of Humanitarian and IOM, that they have reduced the number to 60,000. At the same time, let me give you another example from my own local government, from what we call the Goza East. In the local government, they constitute about 6 wards. 60,000 of them were displaced and they ran away to Cameroon as refugees. Up to now that we are speaking, there's quite a number of them in Minuao, what they call. But the government made effort, and let me also add that even that one, majority are the Christians, but there are still some Muslims in Minuao there. So I'm telling you that this issue of insecurity or terrorism affects everybody. I come from both Christian and Muslim family. You know that my mom is a Christian. My immediate junior sister of the same mother is Diana, and Martina and David and Naomi. Naomi was the one that on her own decided to be a Muslim again. So she became Aisha. This is how we live. Let me give you info. The current president of Kokin in Jos, the current national president of Christian Church of Christ in Nigeria, his name is Amos Muzo. He's from my local government and we are related. Then the deputy chairman of Northern Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, is Bishop Muhammad Naga. He's my brother. So what are these people that are ignorant? And as you rightly said, if you attack Goza, you are likely to hit on Christians and Muslims. But if you attack
Malamfatori,
you just hit on Muslims.
So quickly, has anyone been able to reach out to Senator Ted Cruz directly?
I'm trying to do
or that. Have a communication with him.
I'm trying to
educate him.
Yeah, I will try. I'm trying to do that after the Senate decision. But let me take you again. Recently,
give me a moment, sir. We need to go on another break. And when we come back, there are concerns also from Kwara State.
Yeah, I'm taking you to that.
Just give me a moment. Let's take another break and we'll come back and talk about Kwara State. And of course, I'm worried also about the performance of this budget. Has anything really happened on the 2025 budget? We are heading into 2026. What exactly is going on? We'll be right back, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Our closing moments now with Senator Ali Ndume. We're talking about security, and Senator Ted Cruz is saying about 50,000 Nigerian Christians have been murdered in what he described as an activity that looks like genocide. Since 2009, he said about 2,000 schools, 18,000 churches destroyed by what he called Islamist armed groups, but did not cite a source of his information. So Nigerian government lawmakers are saying they will reach out to Washington to dispute some of the fact or some of the basis of information of that senator. But there are other issues that came up. The concern about insecurity in places like Kwara, in the southern part of Kwara, is generating a lot of concern. But how are you and your colleagues, Senator, dealing with that situation, especially coming from Kwara? Kwara has been, guess what Kwara has been called? State of harmony.
Oh, what of our own? The state of peace in Borno.
But you don't know peace.
Yeah, since 2009. It's unfortunate what is happening in Kwara, but as you can see today, it was brought under a matter of urgent national importance by the deputy leader, I think, and where the Senate is reacting to it. But on the bottom of all this is that more attention should be paid to the issue of security and welfare of Nigerian citizens. That is the main purpose of government as defined in Section 14.2 of the Constitution. I still say that Nigerian government should put this issue of the priority of security as number one. Fortunately, Nigeria is now making more money and the government is, harvesting more revenue. That should be channeled towards providing security and welfare of Nigerian citizens.
So this government is not doing enough yet.
Look,
in terms of budgeting for the military.
No, yeah.
Because you, as the chair of the committee on the army, you've always clamored.
Yeah, no, it's a reality. Can you believe that the Nigerian soldier, as at just with the coming of the new crop of the security chiefs, things are improving. During Christopher, this chief of army staff, but before they came in, the salary of a private in the Nigerian army is $32. Is that not ridiculous? 49,000 naira is not even up to 50. But recently now, this government must be credited with that. They doubled it. So Nigerian soldier is collecting, I'm not sure even if it is all, but 104. If you change that into naira, into dollars that we talk about, is $65 to $67 per month. And the United States Army private, as I'm speaking to you, they call them B4. Their entry is, their salary is $2,400 per month. You transfer that,
so there needs to be an attention.
No, yes, when you are talking about army, they want them to perform. They are not up to 300,000. The police, and you pay them 50,000, and you expect them to perform. You give them AK-47, and you don't. Their salary cannot buy them 2 bags of rice. I mean, we are not serious in this matter.
Senator,
the security of a citizen. Now, if you remove me as a senator or say that you are not going to be paid, but I know that I can sleep with my 2 eyes and drive my car if I decide this night to go to Goza and without fear of any security. I'll prefer that. There is no price for better than security.
Senator,
and we are complaining about the soldiers. How can you, if you go and see the salary of our soldiers from major downward, you pity them.
Senator, we need to close quickly, but there is one important thing I'd like you to touch on. And we're asking, there might be an appropriation, amendment to the appropriation of 2025. But there is a concern about the performance of the 2025 budget. Just in 30 seconds. Are you worried about that?
Very worried. In fact, I'm worried about many things, especially about appropriation. Especially when, you can see that I get sometimes angry. It's just sometimes emotional about this. When they brought the budget, they were hurrying us up to pass it. We passed the budget. Where is it now? 2025 budget. We are in October. Where is it? Let's be honest. And you expect people to just keep quiet? People like me? No.
No capital releases.
Not even any releases. As far as I'm concerned. Because we are and now they are supposed to even bring supplementary budget. I heard. They are now, they must bring a 2026 budget. And I'm even confused. And I said, okay, if we are in 2025, we have not started implementing the budget. And the 2026 budget is coming. What do we do?
Senator, we're totally out of time. It's 8 o'clock already. Thank you so much indeed, Senator Ndume. It's always good to have you. That's our show for tonight, everyone. Man, thanks for watching. I'm sure Kimale. God bless Nigeria.